Antonio Armstrong.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was the coolest guy just in his personality and everything that I ever met.
Yeah.
He was just the most easygoing guy until it was time to play. Wish he'd never hurt his ankle. He would have probably had a long NFL career.
That is right.
God rest him.
Let's go around the room and say hello. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson.
Good morning. Are we wanting to save this thing we're doing right now or later?
You know what? Just bring it.
Okay, I'll bring it now.
It can maybe carry a segment or two later.
Okay, so we're wanting to do this Wednesday Word of the Week inspired by our last conversation that we had last week.
Set it up. Last week you...
I don't even know how it came about. I honestly can't remember. I think I may have said a word that triggered
a hip word, like words that young people say that Obie and I, we're in the old people department.
Oh, yeah.
I forget what word it was.
No cap. I remember that.
No cap.
What does that mean again? I forgot already.
Not kidding or something. Or
it means I'm not lying.
Yeah.
Like truth.
No cap, yo.
Yeah. But, we wanted to give a word every week just to keep things interesting and enlighten everyone who may not be aware of these words.
Sure.
We have kids at home that are using them and they can relate to them better or just want to be more hip. So, and I'll be learning with y'all. And I also want to put a disclaimer out there. I don't use all of these words, but
sure.
I don't. I'll let you know if I do. But
all right.
This word of the week is Cheugy. That's Cheugy.
Yeah, getting chuggy with it, like Will Smith said in the 90s, right? Getting chuggy with it.
Isn't that like when you have a
loogie?
Some phlegm, and you kind of chew on it before you spit?
Yeah, that's a chuggy.
Yeah, let's go with that. No, it means out of style, or essentially mocking someone or something as uncool or trying too hard. The New York Times actually
a try hard?
No, I mean pretty much a try hard, but the New York Times says can be used broadly to describe someone who is out of date.
That's both of us.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I don't believe it. It was in the New York Times.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, I was just trying to get a credible
I'm saying if it was in the New York Times, I don't believe it.
Oh, my gosh.
My conservativeness is coming through.
Uh-oh, Twitter. Watch out.
Come at me, bro.
Oh, my gosh. Well, anyways, you'll hear teenagers saying cheugy relating to fashion and clothes or
yo, that looks cheugy on you, bro.
Exactly. So, like, you remember those chokers girls used to wear? Those are definitely cheugy.
I remember when guys used to wear chokers.
Those are definitely
definitely
cheugy.
So again, let me make sure I got this information correct. It means it's out of style, basically.
Exactly.
So if you're coming in here with some, I don't know, Z Cavariccis before your time, dude, that's cheugy. Yes?
Yeah,
no?
I mean, I honestly have no idea what those are.
You don't know what Z Cavariccis are?
No.
I don't either.
You don't know what Z Cavariccis are?
No.
All right.
Maybe they aren't cheugy then.
It sounds like something to order at an Italian restaurant.
In 1988, I can guarantee you Billy Lucci has some Z Cavariccis. I definitely had some Z Cavariccis.
Well, for Lucci's probably relatives.
Google that, all right? Cheugy. And if you know what a Z Cavaricci pair of pants are, what about
pants?
Like parachute pants. How about that?
Oh, yeah, I knew
that's
that.
cheugy, right?
Yeah.
What else? Life preserver jacket things. Oh, wait, sorry. I wasn't supposed to say that. What else is there?
This usually goes for things that, like, are huge fad.
Oh, gosh.
Z Cavariccis?
Yeah.
Like, I think of, like, when girls would wear those Ugg boots. I don't think those are cool anymore. I don't think they're considered cool anymore.
Crocs
are definitely cheugy.
But they're having a comeback.
The
high school kids are wearing
They are.
those
So
now.
cheugy things can come back into style and be considered not cheugy anymore. So
is it spelled Choogy?
Cheugy.
Cheugy.
Yep.
This segment is getting really cheugy out here. We're gonna have to try to use that. OB, can you use
I like
it in
my
a sentence?
definition better.
What's the loogie?
Yeah. Chewy loogie.
Hey, can you use it in a sentence, OB?
What, cheugy?
Yeah.
Just about everything I wear is cheugy.
There we go.
All right.
Any news for us to share?
I'll get to the news on the other side, but I do want to preface our topic, what must A&M do to win out? And Chase in Houston says the Aggies have to do two things. Great to run the table the rest of the season. Play great run defense and hit the big play on offense. Auburn, Ole Miss, and LSU will all try to run it on the D, and if they can turn them one-dimensional, it favors the Ags. And then if we can hit a big run or deep pass, or continue getting a big play on special teams, our offensive momentum will stay at a high level.
Excellent stuff there, Ana Rosa. And I do want to go to the A&B text line because it kind of hits what we were talking about a moment ago about some of our favorite Aggies of all time. And Nick in College Station says, what about the J Train? Absolutely on my list. Jaworski, I got to cover him. I was here in College Station in 2005. I remember that group with Reggie, Steven, by the way.
Steven's high on my list.
Yeah.
And Reggie McNeil.
Reggie's on that list. There was a guy, I don't know if you remember, Jackson Appel.
I remember Jackson.
He was cool to me. I liked Jackson Appel. And in fact, I think he was invited to Texans training camp and was on with them for a little bit. I don't think he obviously made the team or the practice squad, but I remember Jackson coming out and being with the Texans for a little bit. But a couple different ones out there for us to discuss. All right, when we come back, games that we need to watch this weekend here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Right now, though, I want to talk about the Association of
Former Students.
They're a great association, aren't they? We love those people out there. Lexi, what up? She used to work here. Randy, Catherine Porter, an incredible group who does a great work out there, and they're doing it for Aggies everywhere. They've been doing it for so long, guys, over 140 years. Now, your gifts and your donations to the Association of Former Networks have helped the Aggie Network in so many different ways. They just give to student organizations, muster, midnight yell, academic scholarships. They're just doing many, many things. You know, they're responsible for Aggie Park. That's going to be popping. That's not Cheugy. That's going to be great here, by this summer. Should be up and running by most of it by this summer. Giving to the association is really simple. Just becoming a Century Club member, which I didn't do for a couple years. I'm back all in. $100 a year, $9 a month. You're going to get that decal, the plaque, and the Texas Aggie magazine. Plus, you're continuing in the oldest, most inspiring tradition of Aggies helping other Aggies. To learn more about that impact of the association, get involved, make a gift. Visit AggieNetwork.com.
Your home for the Houston Texans is Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is The Zone.
Hey parents, when it comes to your child's education, there's a lot to consider. No matter what you're searching for, search the Bryan Broadcasting half-price tuition program first. We've partnered with schools and learning centers throughout the area to get your students started with high-quality programs at half price. Right now, we're featuring half-price tuitions at Happy Camper School, Multilingual Academy, Southwood Learning Center, Kitty Castle, and more. Half-price tuitions are first come, first served, and availability is limited. Go to halfpricebrazos.com.
Howdy, this is Steve Bledsoe, fighting Texas Aggie class of '83, with some exciting news. VeriBank is now open with our new full-service location on Highway 6 in College Station. With personal bankers, business bankers, VeriBank has everything you need in one convenient location. Come see for yourself, where genuine banking is waiting for you, and you can bank on it.
Visit VeraBank.com today. That's VERA Bank.com. VeriBank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The association, because they support so many different things and they are involved, as a student, you feel like you have somebody in your corner.
We know that Alfredo's family has never seen him march live at Kyle Field. With the help of the Association of Former Students, we're going to end that today. Alfredo's family is here with us.
To the Association of Former Students, I don't know how much I can thank you enough for giving me hope that for anything that goes wrong, something good is going to happen out of it. Whatever they do for the school, it's always going to come out with a smile on someone else's face.
To learn more about the association's impact or to make a gift, visit tx.ag/giving.
The end of the tax year is near, so if you need maintenance or replacement parts for your construction equipment, WPI has you covered. Regardless of your machine's make or model, WPI can help. From custom hydraulic hoses, O-rings, and depth to teeth, buckets, and blades. Any part, filter, fluid, battery, or lighting for every brand of equipment is at your local WPI. Visit Jesse James at WPI's new location in Bryan, Highway 21 East at Marino Road, or click WPI.com.
Listening to The Zone on your Amazon Daughter Echo is easy. Even Louie figured it out. 2 simple steps, and you can hear Chip Howard Sports Talk, TexAgs Radio, The Louie Bellina Show, and many of your favorite A&M teams anytime, anywhere with your special friend, Alexa. Step 1, and only one time, say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill. Then anytime you want to hear your favorite host or teams, all you have to do is say, Alexa, play Zone 1150. Make sure to set it all up and say, Alexa, enable Zone 1150 skill, and listen in anytime just by saying, Alexa, play Zone 1150.
We're talking about Zeke Cavaricci's here on the show. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. And Olin just told me he wants to have a pair of Zeke Cavaricci's and a man bun. That's interesting.
No, I said that's, you just open the door just a little bit and all the ridiculousness falls through. It started obviously in the 80s with these kind of silly pants. And 40 years later, guys are dressing like women. They got their man buns on. They're, some of the.
I think a man bun can look cool. If you rock it, you can look cool. Soccer players that rock the man bun.
Yeah.
You're out.
I'm not having it. I did have to admit, though, I've admitted before, that, back in the 90s, I did wear a ponytail from time to time.
No, you did not.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine you in a ponytail.
I did. I had some really long hair.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Lucci long?
Oh, no, longer than that.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Like Howard Stern back in the day hair?
Well, it wasn't curly,
okay,
but it was really long. And then one day, this really sweet, almost mousy older lady that I worked with at the Tyler Morning Telegraph, some guys were ragging on me about my hair, and she says, I think it looks nice. I think he looks like a beetle. And I said, yeah, I guess it's time to get a haircut if she's...
And this was in the 90s?
Yeah.
30 years later, that's great.
Yeah, I think I need to let it go then. If she's comparing me to... The Beatles were not necessarily... Great band. Not a bunch of handsome guys.
Hey, but if you're in a band...
Yeah, I know.
It's like being the quarterback.
Yeah, I know.
Life is good. You mentioned something about you open the door and things, right?
Yeah.
I live my life by that philosophy when it comes to everything, like fitness, nutrition, reading, because I believe if you give yourself an inch, another inch. So let's just say, for example, if you have I don't know why I'm going this route, but I just felt like going there. It's a bye week. If you say, I'm not going to have pizza this week. If you have one slice of pizza at the party, you'll have two. You know what I'm saying? Like once you open that door, it's over, buddy. So just don't open the door.
Yeah, well, my door is a revolving door. It's just, the pizza, I'm going to have one. Okay, I have to. Okay, I'm going to eat the whole damn thing.
Well, I
have no willpower.
Yes, you do. I will tell you this. I'm reading this book by Jocko Willink. Are you familiar with him?
No.
Former Navy SEAL. He has a philosophy.
Those are my heroes, but go ahead.
Yes, and he's got a couple really good books. And he just talks about there's no waiting. You want to do something? You do it then. You don't people who say, that's it. After the New Year's, I'm going to start my fitness regime. Start now. There's no such thing as starting later.
You're right.
So we're starting tomorrow.
Okay.
All right? 4:30 a.m., we're going to go for a walk run.
4:30.
Yeah. You want to start before your enemy starts. That's Jocko's thinking.
Oh, okay.
All right? Because your enemy starts at 7 a.m., you start before them. That way, when 7 a.m. comes up, you are ready to roll.
So where are we going to do this walk run?
I don't know. Actually, tomorrow I'm off. I'm hoping not to wake up at 4:30.
We're going to wait till Monday.
Yeah. Hey, Anna Rosa, you had a couple text messages to get us on the NB text line?
I do. We're getting a lot of fun responses. Trey and Shiner says Texas is Cheugy, referring to the university, and the national media must be tripping on dissing the Ags. And OB got crunk on Twitter by blocking some shawty yesterday.
Do you know what a shawty is?
I don't.
Shawty,
but I got a pretty good idea that I figured out, but
it's like your girl,
a female,
a lady.
Oh, that's all.
Yeah. That's
okay.
Yeah. That's it. Isn't there one about PJ Tucker? I saw one about PJ Tucker. I think Trey Shiner sent that one. I found it.
Okay.
Nope, that's not Trey Shiner. But basically, whoever it was said, and I apologize for not remembering. PJ Tucker is an example of a guy from Texas that you can root for. About the dribbling out the clock and all the nonsense. But when he was at the Rockets, he was a dog for the Rockets, and people ended up loving him. So that's an example of a Texas guy who became a Houston guy that people got behind. And he was, to me, he's more Rocket than he is Longhorn.
Right. And see, my point is that allows me to root against the Aggies individually, or, I want them to be successful. But if they're going my team, if you can then accept a Longhorn and root for him because he's on your team,
right,
then you can root against an Aggie when he's playing against your team.
We actually had an example of that yesterday. A.J. Minter pitching for the Atlanta Braves versus
that's right. Good point.
the Houston Astros. I wanted Minter to pitch poorly.
Right.
He pitched great. Love the guy. Wanted him to have a bad outing. Brooks Raley on the Astros, a lot of Houston fans were not happy with him this year. I want him to pitch lights out.
Of course you do.
A, because he's an Aggie, and B, he's on the Astros.
Yeah, you got the double motivation.
I do. Hey, let's do this. We do need to get into the games that you're going to be watching this weekend. We'll do that on the other side of the break, and then we also need to really get into our topic. We've gotten Cheugy on this whole show. What must A&M do to win out? We'll have that here on the program. We'll get into your text messages and your phone calls here on the show. But right now I want to talk about Heritage Films. My buddy Chance McClain. In fact, my mom yesterday called me. She's filling out the paperwork for their documentary, right? And she's asking me questions like, where do I put this information? I was like, Mom, just put it on line 2. But there is no line 2. Just put it here. And she filled it out. She did it. And then I got to do my part. Alex has got to do his part. We're going to send it in. And here in about less than a month, Chance will be at my dad's house interviewing him about his life and his time in Cuba and coming to this country. He's going to get that documentary film ready to roll. We'll have it sometime after the new year, and just really awesome experience that I know others have had. I've had family members reach out to me saying they're going to do it. I've had TexAgs subscribers tell me that they're going to do it. And if you want something that is first class, done from the heart, from somebody you can trust, who's going to be a slave to the process, you call up Heritage Films. And the website's easy to remember, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on The Zone. The City of Bryan is hosting their annual Hamburger Cook-Off fundraiser benefiting the United Way of the Brazos Valley on Friday at the Brazos Center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Join Hope Pregnancy Center for an open house to celebrate their new location this Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. Safe Tech is looking for teams to compete for cash prizes and a chance to bring their ideas to life in the first ever 24-hour Make Safe Tech-a-thon on Friday. Register at makesafetech.org. The Twin Oaks Landfill Household Hazardous Waste and Computer Collection event is this Saturday at the Texas A&M Service Building next to Veterans Park. Visit twinoakshhw.com for complete details. Listen to the Astros postseason run on Sports Radio 1150 AM 93.7 FM and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. You can hear the Astros on The Zone and Gospel 97.3 FM. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Shop local, buy local, save big deals.
It's not every day you can save money. Oh, wait, you can. Hi, Jenny here from Big Deals. When you shop Big Deals, you'll save money every day on dozens of gift certificates from local businesses like these.
Lena Salon, baked or fried, Socorro, Second Chance Resale Shop, and Specialties Photography. Visit AggielandBigDeals.com to save big. AggielandBigDeals.com.
Trick or treat! From Bryan Broadcasting, Destination Bryan, and ABC Home and Commercial Services, you're invited to Halloween Town in downtown. A free, safe, come-and-go trick-or-treating experience for the whole family. Join us in downtown Bryan on Friday, October 29th from 4 p.m. until candy runs out. There will be a kid zone, photo booth, costume contest, and lots of candy stations for trick-or-treating. Special thanks to our treat sponsors, La Macaron French Pastries, St. Joseph Health, and Gentry Gandy's Dance Factory. Don't miss this free outdoor Halloween celebration for all ages. Brought to you by Bryan Broadcasting, Destination Bryan, and ABC Home and Commercial Services, specialists for your environment. For award-winning AC and heating service for your home, visit abchomeandcommercial.com. Make your plans now for Halloween Town in downtown, Friday, October 29th, starting at 4 p.m.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max. You got to win multiple Super Bowls for it to be a dynasty. Do we ever talk about the Buffalo Bills that went to 4 Super Bowls and didn't win one? Do we ever say that it's a dynasty?
They would've won
the
one of them.
Dallas Cowboys, the Boston Celtics, the New York Yankees, those are dynasties. When you show up at the Super Bowl, it don't win, it's not a dynasty.
What about it's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
Welcome back, TexAgs Radio. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And I want to remind you guys that they just had the ring in season promotion, but they always have great deals out there. You want to go by and visit what David and Julie are doing over there. They've been here forever. Great for the community. Always giving back. Always thinking about this Brazos Valley area, and just wonderful people. 911 University Drive East in College Station. They've got it all out there. It's davidgardnersjewelers.com. So we got a couple things to get in. We got a loaded segment here because we wasted so much time on Cheuginess. So let's we got to talk about the games to watch this weekend. You got some news out of Ole Miss. Got a couple text messages to get into. And, also what the Aggies must do to win out. But let's first go to the A and B text line. Anna Rosa's got a text for us.
And I got a question. Joshua asks, at the bye week and seeing how Calzada and the team has improved, do you think the Aggies underachieved the first part of the season?
I'd say overachieved. Because I have the benefit of knowing that they lost key contributors to a team. Now, should they have still beat Mississippi State? Yes. But Arkansas was pretty salty at the time you played them. And you were without your quarterback. You were without part of your offensive line. You were, really without part of your secondary. And now these guys have the experience that I think can hold them out. Maybe overachieve is the wrong way to phrase it, but they did better than I expected if I would have been given the plan from before. You're not going to have Haynes. You're not going to have Layden Robinson for a few games. You're not going to have some of your wide receivers, and you're going to be juggling your offensive line. Plus, your secondary is going to be injured as well.
I think they largely underachieved the first 5 weeks and have overachieved since.
Okay. I think that's fair.
That's kind of a
so they're right
answer. There. Yeah. I mean, anytime you have a win over Alabama, even if Alabama's now saying, well, we're not as good as usual. Well, yeah, right. But anytime you have a win over Alabama, it's hard to say you've underachieved.
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting question, and I'm glad that they brought that one up. But I'm not really sure. All right, OB, you have some news for us that posted last night that I wasn't aware of.
Yeah, Ben Brown, offensive lineman from Ole Miss, probably their best offensive lineman, definitely most experienced. A 3-year Letterman, 3-year starter at right guard. He's out for the season. Think he might have had a knee injury in their last game. And after, checking everything, they realized, okay, I think maybe you got a ACL or something like that. But he's out he put it on Twitter last night that he was out for the rest of the year.
That's big. That is big. Let's get into some games that you want to watch this weekend with number 5.
Texas and Baylor.
For obvious reasons, right?
Well, yeah. And Texas trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak. Baylor's trying to stay in the Big 12 championship race. But, again, to me, it's just out of morbid curiosity. I said last week it's like watching Iran and Iraq in the war, and you're not sure who to root for. But I think I'm green and gold this weekend.
Yeah, I love the idea of Texas being on a 3-game losing streak on a year that they felt that they could get into the college football playoffs in that weak Big 12 and rebounding from the Arkansas game. Everything is solved after that. We beat Texas Tech by 100 points. I hope they lose by 30.
Well,
or 40.
One will be enough for me, but it's funny because I don't hate the Texas program. I really don't. But I've come to detest some of their fans that go out of their way to constantly attack me or attack A&M or Lucci, and that makes me root against them.
Yeah, I'm not one that goes after them. I mean, I wanted them to lose, just like they want us to lose, right? But since I've been here at TexAgs, seeing a lot more of those tweets and, how really both fan bases talk about the others, but they love to say we're in their head, right? Or they're in our head, whatever it is. I just like when they lose, bottom line. What else? Number 4. It's a big game right here.
Yeah, number 20 Penn State at number 5 Ohio State. They're trying to the Knits are trying to come back from that loss to Illinois.
Yeah. They thought they were in the college football playoff chase. They're out of it now.
They are. Now they're spoilers.
Yeah.
And they're hoping to spoil Ohio State, but Ohio State's looking really good right now. I think they're going to beat Penn State, but it's worth watching. Two teams that are ranked, and Penn State looking for some redemption.
Yeah. Who was it? Who was talking yesterday? Which coach was it? The Penn State coach that was talking.
James Franklin.
It was James Franklin talking about. So he said something in a press conference that caught lightning in a bottle on Twitter. Something about how they lost and maybe job speculation. And remember we had the Mike Tomlin press conference.
Yeah.
Apparently Franklin had something not similar, but something a little vague that upset that fan base on how he answered that question.
You know what frustrated me about Mike Tomlin? I should probably save this for bull crap, but I'm going to say it now. Is he said, is anyone asking Andy Reid? Is anyone asking Sean Payton as if it was a racial thing? The reason he was asked is because Mark Sanchez mentioned him.
Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mentioned him.
Yeah.
That's why. It's not that anyone's disrespecting you, but some guy who's with USC throws that out, and you wonder, does he have some inside knowledge?
I will
so
say
I'm
this.
going to ask.
Before he got to that part, which was he was clearly waiting for that question and clearly ready to be angry. But before that, I thought he defended.
Outstanding.
It was great. It was like Jimbo-esque, but angry, right?
Yeah.
It was great. And then he had to take it a step further.
And again, the reason you were asked is only reason. I know this as a reporter is because it had been put out there by a guy in the media from USC, and you wonder, does he have any kind of inside knowledge being from USC? So, of course, you would ask.
And maybe people at USC brought up his name. So like that could be part of the case. All right, the third game, which is probably my most intriguing game of the week.
Yeah, it's the one I personally want to watch the most. It's number 10, Ole Miss at number 18, Auburn. Hey, the winner's still in the SEC West Championship race.
Yep.
Loser's not.
And both of those opponents, obviously.
A&M's next two opponents.
Could either whoever wins that game, it's setting up a showdown with A&M. Well, if Auburn loses, I still think it's going to be a big game against A&M. If Ole Miss wins and A&M is able to win next week at Auburn, that's going to set up maybe two top 12 teams.
Who do you want to win?
I think Auburn.
Okay.
I think. Although there's a part of me that wants Ole Miss to win because I'd like to beat Ole Miss with a great record to have two top 10 teams that A&M has been able to bring down. So there's that part of it. But I think by losing to Auburn, I'm more optimistic of going there and winning because it shows that they're not as good. Because I do think A&M is better than Auburn, and they're going to win that game.
Okay, that's interesting.
But I don't know. I don't know what I want. I'm worried about Matt Corral.
You sound like my wife when I ask her where we're going to dinner.
We're going to go here. We're going to go there. We're going to go everywhere.
I don't know. What do you want? I don't know. I want Ole Miss. I want Auburn.
But I think I would like to see A&M beat two top 10 teams this year and then see their resume if maybe other teams are 10-2 as well.
Yeah, just win. And then number 1, Georgia.
You didn't tell me your answer.
I think I want to see. I mean, I really don't care.
You sound like me now.
I think if I had to pick, I might want to see Ole Miss win.
Why?
I don't know. I really don't know why.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe because I've got this issue with Bo Nix.
Okay.
He's always been overhyped.
Always compared
He's
to
probably
Johnny.
a nice guy.
Yeah.
But he's always been overhyped, like Auburn quarterbacks always are.
Yep.
Ever since Cam Newton, every quarterback's been overhyped. And I never see. They're almost like Texas lately.
Right.
I never see the production to match the hype. So I'm feeling that way about Auburn. I don't know.
All right. What's the other game?
Number 1, Georgia at Florida in Jacksonville, the cocktail party that you're not supposed to call it. I think Florida's the last team with an even remotely realistic chance to beat Georgia in the regular season.
Yeah, we talked about them in up to the second college football, which comes out today at 5:00. And my thing about I think Florida's it's kind of like LSU. You don't know what team's going to show up from week to week, and they got quarterback issues. They got two good quarterbacks, although Richardson's probably the guy moving forward. But they matched up so well with Alabama. It makes me think that they can match up with Georgia, but Georgia's obviously far superior. And Georgia doesn't have the offense that Alabama has.
Yeah, and, here's the deal. I would pick Georgia. I'd put my money on Georgia, but the fact is it's a rival game. And when you're in a rival game, crazy things happen.
Yep.
So I'd expect Georgia to win. But
I do too.
I think it'll be interesting.
And another rival game, by the way, a great one.
Number 6, Michigan, and number 8, Michigan State, and they hate each other. A lot of people, myself included, have always thought that Ohio State is the number 1 Michigan rival. I was up there once for a deal with, that receiver, Braylon Edwards was given some money, and I was covering it. And as he pointed out to everybody there, and they all agreed, no, their number 1 rival at Michigan is Michigan State.
Right. It's
a dislike, but a respect for Ohio State. It's just a complete disdain and no respect for Michigan State. So, and both teams are, in the top 10 and
60 miles apart.
60 miles, and they're trying to stay in step with Ohio State.
Yep, that's. I'm very intrigued by that game because I don't think I know enough about either team.
I don't think either team is as good as their
no, they haven't played anybody.
Record of their ranking.
They haven't played anybody. Now we're about to find out about Michigan. By the way, if you were to, I had an insider from Georgia on the show, Dean Legge, dongpost.com, and he was like, for them, Florida is their rival. But he says Auburn, Florida, and Georgia Tech. He says they got 3 key rivals, but Florida is their chief
number
rival.
1, yeah.
So for an A&M perspective, who would you say? Obviously, I would say Texas is the chief.
Once the game comes back.
Right, but it's still.
No, Texas always will be.
I've
had arguments on here when they were no longer playing Texas, and people say, "Oh, it's going to be LSU." LSU, I get it.
LSU is a rival,
but it will never be, and it never was what it is against Texas. It's just not.
So, if you were to say there's 3 rivals for A&M, who would you say?
I know who that I want them to be. Okay, it's going to be Texas and LSU, and then I want it to be Alabama.
Yeah.
My take was always when the Aggies are saying, "Hey, we need a rival," and they're trying to manufacture this thing against LSU because a rivalry has to be on both sides. And you'd go over to Louisiana, and they're like, yeah, we want to beat A&M, but Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Ole Miss, they're like A&M to LSU. Aggies don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. Was way down on the pecking order.
Kind of like how Tech looked at us and we looked at Tech for a long time.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Now, I'll say the 7 overtime game, might have changed some things a little bit.
We win there this year.
Right. But I've always said, if you want to create a rivalry, don't look to create it with LSU. Replace LSU in Alabama's mind. Become that team that Alabama, they're always going to hate Tennessee and they're always going to hate Auburn. But by God, they know they got to get through A&M to win the division. That's what you need to aspire to be, that guy.
Yep. Yeah, I believe you can't make a rivalry. They happen organically.
I agree with that.
And now it can happen organically if the team's on your schedule enough, right? That can certainly, and something happens in a game perhaps, or some heated words, or a coach leaves, those things. But you can't just say, all right, this is our new rival. That's it. We've moved conferences. That's LSU. It just doesn't work.
What I don't like about LSU is how they were, can't use the word. I can, but I'm not going to. They were that team, that whiny little team that when A&M was dominating them in the 90s, in the 80s, 90s, then said, well, we're not going to play anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to stop playing because you're losing? How ridiculous is that? Come on. Sack up, Tigers.
Sack it up. Hey, let's talk about Elms Orthodontics. And by the way, when we come back, I do want to talk with you about the topic of the day that we haven't been able to talk about, which is what does A&M have to do to win out the rest of the way. But Dr. Troy Elms and Dr. Jeremy Stewart, they've been winning for a long time. Dr. Elms been winning out since, 30 years ago in the 90s? Like, he's just been bringing it. That's what he does. And same with Dr. Jeremy Stewart. If you've got kids that have some crowding with their teeth, they're having issues with their smile, maybe you have got a couple situations with your mouth, you're like, I'm just not happy with it. I don't like to smile. That's the guy you need to call out because they got Invisalign there, and they also have braces. They just have incredible care, an amazing Bible study. They're just the kind of team that just does it well. And they do everything well. Literally, like if you want a better smile, that's who you go to. If you have some issues that you're trying to fix, that's who you go to. They've been doing it for so long, and they have a free consultation that you can get right now by calling the phone number, 979-693-6300. Get that free consultation or learn more online at drelms.com.
Find out the latest contests, promotions, and events for 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. Log on to thezone1150.com.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
When we started Intercon in early 1991, we were well aware that we would be competing with some companies that use unscrupulous techniques to make a quick sale, such as bait and switch, or 40% off if you commit today, or misleading, incomplete quotes. Intercon's practice is to be completely honest and encourage prospective customers to talk to our former customers. We've encouraged customers to get multiple quotes. We are confident and proud of our value proposition for windows, glass, and solar screens. We never want anyone to rush into a decision they will regret in the future. Just remember, warranties are only as good as the people who provide them and are servicing the area when situations arise. This is our home and only marketplace, and we will protect our home turf. You've probably heard the saying, the buck stopped here, and that is with me, Brad Beard, president and co-owner of Intercon LLC.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
The small Texas town of Llano is where it all began. The Wooten family created Cooper's old-time pit barbecues, mouth-watering recipes, and cowboy-style cooked barbecue. Decades later, you can still get the same great recipes, cooked exactly the same way by the same family, right here in College Station. Dine in, curbside pickup, or catered. Experience the taste of locally, Aggie-owned, nationally recognized Cooper's old-time pit barbecue. Voted best barbecue in the Brazos Valley and proud supporter of Texas A&M athletics.
You can hear the Paul Feinbaum Show weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Presented by Polaris Fun Center. Paul Feinbaum is SEC Country, and Aggieland is SEC Country too. Join Paul weekdays 2 to 4 here on the Zone. Polaris Fun Center, where you can get a $500 rebate on any 450 or 570 Model A TV, or $2,000 cash back on a Polaris XP1000. Polaris Fun Center, where they sell and service fun, not tractors. The voice of the SEC, and you can hear Paul Feinbaum weekdays from 2 to 4 on the Zone.
Let nothing stand between you and the tree stand with this great offer on the fast, durable Kubota Sidekick, featuring a gas-powered engine that delivers a top speed of 40 miles per hour, best-in-class acceleration and handling with cargo, and a 2-year, 1,000-hour warranty. Get the Sidekick now for 0 down, 0% APR for 60 months, or save up to $1,500 now through December 31st. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
Visit one of WC Tractor's 4 Kubota Elite dealerships in Brenham, Bryan, Navasota, and Temple, or visit online at WCTractor.com.
This is Daryl from Columbus, previously from the Paul Feinbaum Show.
Hey, Nick, go right ahead.
What do you guys do? Put some kind of wheel in the break room there and spin it, and if it lands on your name, you get some show? Put on some real content that Two Reese Monkeys could get better ratings after you if you put something of substance there, Paul.
The Paul Feinbaum Show, powered by Polaris Fun Center, 2 to 4 weekdays on the Zone.
TexAgs Radio. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. We're reading the text messages. I don't know why I do the weird voices sometimes.
We have way too much fun here.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's
like
a fun show.
Way too much.
Really, the two hosts on this show, pretty good. I mean, they're a little cheugy, as my wife would say, because she texted, she heard us using the term. We're a little cheugy, but we bring it. By the way, the BCSI hotline is open, 979-693-1150, and the Rollo Insurance Studio is where we do the show. So, OB, I have a question of the day or a topic of the day. Mm-hmm. What must A&M do to win out?
Well, my first answer is not what you want, but I'm just saying, play well, because I think they're better. I really do believe they're better than all the teams remaining on their schedule. If they play well, don't do things that let the other team have a chance to win. But I think starting to be more specific, you start off running the football. I don't think Auburn, I don't think Ole Miss or LSU are particularly good in run defense. So you exploit that with your strong running game and get the best you can out of it. Of course, we all know that opens up so many other opportunities in the passing game. But run well, and then of course on the other side, I think you're going to have to play good pass defense.
Yes, you're going to have to do that. I want to throw in something that I think is pretty simple for the Aggies to win.
Okay.
Control the line of scrimmage. To me, that is the formula. It's the Jimbo formula forever. It's the formula for this team to win out the rest of the way, and for a couple reasons. A, I think Auburn can run the ball, right? So if you can control that side of the defense or that side of the line of scrimmage, make it hard for them, put Bo Nix into some positions where you know he can win a game for you and he can absolutely lose a game for you. Make Bo Nix have to be a gunslinger and make him lose a game. I think.
Yeah, because I don't think their receivers or anything to get overly. I mean, you respect everybody, right?
Sure.
If they weren't good, they wouldn't be in the SEC. But at an SEC level, I think they're average.
Yeah. So that's A for me. All right. B, I would say control the line of scrimmage on the offensive side of the ball, right? Because if you are able to run the ball, especially against a team like Ole Miss, right, and control the clock and keep Matt Corral off the field, you are going to win that game on the road. That's one of those games you need to have 35 minutes time of possession, limit how many times he touches the ball. So I'm keeping it real simple. Control the line of scrimmage defensively, offensively. You do that, you win out because you should beat Auburn at home. Your toughest challenge, you should. I don't know if you will, but you should. Your toughest challenge looks like it's going to be Ole Miss. And they're pretty good, and you know that Lane Kiffin's going to bring that offense. But and they love to run the ball to set up their pass, and they'll go super deep on you. Stop them running the ball. Force Matt Corral, who has not had a lot of mistakes this year, hasn't thrown a lot of interceptions, to throw them. PV, we know how that's going to go. And then, again, LSU, that game, that scares me a little bit because, like Florida, like other teams out there, LSU is a team that looks like they're done. And then they have a pretty convincing win here and there. So I think control the line of scrimmage, you win out.
They might be playing A&M for bowl eligibility, LSU. But, again, the Ole Miss law is now without one of its best offensive linemen, maybe best.
Yep.
And that right guard is whoever his replacement is going against Peavy, is going against McKinley Jackson, a Mississippi kid. DeMarvin Leal, that could be a really big advantage for the Aggies in that game.
Yes,
but don't look ahead of the next one.
Nope.
Coach.
Enjoy the weekend, Coach O. Or for me, it's the weekend.
I want to enjoy the weekend.
Hey, I'm Edo. Yours is better. Mine's more of a Batman, Edo.
Well, any Edo's a good Edo. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
See, I can't do it. I can't do it like you. I can't do it too. Hey, you had a really Cheugy show today. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Coming up next, Chris Landry, Landry Football, the Texas A&M Scouting Report. He's great. That's next here on TexAgs.
Hey Texas, this is Eric Burton. And I'm Adrian Casada, and we are Black Pumas. We've partnered with Don't Mess with Texas to turn up the message to keep Texas clean. So come on, join hands and let us be united. Let's all do our part in taking care of our beautiful state roads. It's time to step up. Together, we can keep Texas litter-free. Don't mess with Texas, y'all. Peace.
Sponsored by TxDOT.
Our publications reach every corner of the Brazos Valley, and we want to partner with you in sharing your message with the community. You may recognize a few of our Bryan Broadcasting publications.
Best of the Brazos Valley.
Brazos Life, the annual manual.
Welcome home, Brazos Valley.
Brazos Family. Brazos Wellness.
Brazos Valley Bride.
Peace, Brazos Christian Life.
With the combined power of 7 magazine titles, 11 radio stations, and digital solutions, Bryan Broadcasting Publications can help you be heard. Call 979-695-9595 to learn more.
We love beer, steak, Aggie football, and your community. Hang out with Louis Bellina, weekdays 11 to 2 on the Zone 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. This is KZNE, College Station Bryan.
From WTAW, I'm Chelsea Reber with a news update on the Zone. Should College Station ISD partner with the Texas A&M System's Rellis campus for career and technology classes? That was one of the questions posed to those seeking CSISD school board positions during the recent Chamber of Commerce Candidates Forum.
Place one candidate Darren Payne mentioned more than once his support for all the CISD bond issues that are in this election, which includes an $8 million CTE Ag Center.
I think we do a great job of working with A&M already. We've got a really tight community and connection there. On the bond, we've got a new CTE facility, so that would be a great opportunity to partner as well.
From fellow Place one candidate Amy Algie.
Just seeing the way that it's moving so far, I would think that anything that led to further progress outside of high school and diverse pathways connected to CTE would certainly be a possibility.
Comments from the CSISD and College Station Council candidates who participated in the Chamber Forum are online at WTAW.com. Bill Oliver, 1620 94.5 WTAW.
A Brazos County grand jury indicts a Texas A&M veterinarian and professor in the vet school on a charge of livestock cruelty. Dr. Ashley Watts is accused of intentionally torturing a horse by excessively contacting the animal with a device that delivered an electric shock. The indictment was filed last Thursday. As of last Friday, a university spokesperson said Watts was still working, though she was not seeing patients. The Bryan City Council is holding a special meeting Friday afternoon to name 3 new municipal court judges. This is after the council placed presiding judge Albert Navarro on paid administrative leave for undisclosed reasons more than 2 months ago. City staff is recommending a Bryan lawyer, Gerald Wise, as presiding judge for the next 2 years. The council is also being asked to create the position of temporary associate judges and name 2 lawyers who practice in San Antonio to fill those positions. More news is online at WTAW.com. I'm Chelsea Reber on The Zone.
Bryan Broadcasting is your home for high school football. Bryan High, A&M Consolidated, Rudder, and College Station High play on the Bryan Broadcasting family of stations. No matter where you are, hear every play, every game, all season long. Thanks to Frost Bank, Ed Phillips Plumbing, Rapid Express Car Wash, and ASAP Equipment. To find out when and where to hear your favorite team, go to brazosfootball.com.
Are your devices sucking your brains out through your eyeballs? Then engage your mind and refresh your soul and head over to Spirit Ice Arena. Whether you're a newcomer or a seasoned vet, there's something for everyone. From figure skating to league hockey to public skating that's open to everyone, Spirit Ice Arena has something for the whole family. Don't worry about being a little shaky on the ice. Use our Big Blue Assistant to keep you steady. Get out of the house and get on over. We are waiting for you at Spirit Ice Arena. For more info, go to spiritice.com.
Good morning, sports fans. I'm Zach Taylor with your Aggie Sports Minute on The Zone. The Sports Minute is brought to you by Hilco Roofing and Supply. Call 936-825-0500 or click hilcosupply.com. Number 14, Texas A&M football's in a bye this week as it rests up and heals up for a late season push. However, wide receiver Aniyah Smith isn't calling it a vacation.
We're not going to be able to let off the gas. You know what I'm saying? Throughout practice, this is not an off week, and I'm not taking it as an off week. I'm making sure that all the guys know that, you know, we have to come out and we have to get better this week. There's no going back to what we used to be. Like, we can only go up, and that's the only way.
Aniyah and the guys return to action on November 6th when they welcome Auburn to town. Now, kickoff time for that game has yet to be announced, but November 20th's matchup against Prairie View A&M has been set. The Aggies and Panthers will kick off at 11 a.m. at Kyle Field. To get Coach Jimbo Fisher's take on the season so far, tune into the Jimbo Fisher Coaches Show tonight from 8 to 9 on 1620 94.5 WTAW. Former Aggie standout A.J. Minter was the winning pitcher in last night's Game 1 of the World Series as the Atlanta Braves downed the Houston Astros 6-2. The lefty came on in relief of starter Charlie Morton, who left in the third inning with a fractured leg. Minter allowed 1 earned run on 3 hits in 2 2/3 innings pitched. Fellow Aggie Brooks Raley tossed 1 2/3 perfect innings of relief for Houston. And that's been your Aggie Sports Minute brought to you by Hilco Roofing and Supply. On The Zone, I'm Zach Taylor.
Aggie football game day on The Zone starts 3 hours before kickoff with the Twin Peaks
pregame show powered by TexAgs.com. Game Day on the Zone is brought to you in part by Higginbotham Insurance, Stephen Gustitis, attorney at law, Tradition, Mobile One Oil and Lube, and Gage Gandy Bail Bonds. After you listen to the Twin Peaks pregame show powered by TexAgs.com, listen to every single Aggie football game right here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
It is TexAgs Radio. Get myself back in frame. Apologies to Jamie. He's like, come on, dude. Do your job. We're here in the Rollo Insurance Studio, TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. And time to talk a little Aggie football with the A&M scouting report, our good buddy Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. Good morning to you, Chris.
Morning, David. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm great, my friend. And Chris is joining us on the BCSI hotline. Hey, man, so let's talk a little bit about this past game A&M had here against South Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
I was fascinated by the way South Carolina's offense worked backward there. They had 10 yards at the half and then 6 yards at the end of the third quarter. I know in your many years of working in football, you've probably seen stuff like that. But, man, that was fun to watch until that fourth quarter.
Yeah, it was. We talked last week that South Carolina's in bad shape. I mean, they're not too far. I was getting ready to say they're not Vanderbilt bad, but to be honest with you, they're in that same conversation. They're in really bad shape. The quarterback situation, particularly on offense, but even on defense, they haven't been in many games. No, they've won a few against weak opponents. They're very fortunate against Vanderbilt. You watch the tape and it's like, it's a pillow fight, and neither one of them could do a whole lot. So I knew this was going to get an ugly game to the point where it was going to be, whatever A&M wanted it to be. And then, I think that's kind of how it played out. I think a little bit of foot off the gas, and it maybe looked less dominant, but anybody that watched it, it was never a contest.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about the line, and we'll start on the offensive side. That is a group that was a problem early on and now becoming a position of strength.
Yeah, I mean, it's to me, it's I see this all the time. Young offensive line, 4 new guys. I mean, the surprise would be if they were really good to start. I mean, it doesn't work that way. You would expect them to get better, and there's circumstances in which it doesn't get better. You lose continuity. You have further injuries. I mean, all those things factor in. But, this team's very well coached. They're coached well there. I expected them to get better. It's not so much, looking at it from, well, they lost this game and they won this game. It's just how they progress gradually. And when you look at guys, you start to see more of a comfort level. And as I mentioned, going into, say, Alabama week and after Alabama week when we talked, is they've also helped the offensive line out a little bit. When they really recognized that they were going to have problems, they ran a lot of condensed formations, a lot of 2 tight end sets to help the run game, because this is a team that's going to be built, young quarterback and an offensive line. Well, that's a recipe for not going to be very good in the early part of the season, may not be all that good at any point during the course of the year yet. They've gotten better and better. And why I think they've done a good job of working and teaching young guys on that offensive line, or getting new guys in and creating that chemistry. And 2, formationally, they've done a very good job of, look, we got to get the running game going. The strength of this offense is its 2 backs. It's running game as a whole. So let's run the football. That makes it easier for the quarterback. You slow down pass rush pressure. You don't have to pass block as long, because defensive fronts have to play the run first if you're a good running team. So they've become a very good running team, which in the early part of the season, couldn't quite find the running game, couldn't get it going. Remember, we're talking in the Colorado game, and, they weren't there yet. And, hey, welcome to football and coaching. And, you don't have the same team from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 to week 8. It's different. Sometimes it's better. Sometimes it's worse for different reasons. This team has played better, gotten better. I do think we need to be aware that they have, after Alabama, they've played 2 weak teams that even if they didn't play well, it was only going to factor into the margin of victory. So as I'm sure we'll talk about it in the bye week, it's, let's get ready, because you're going to have at least in Auburn and Ole Miss, 2 teams that are going to bring about some different looks, different challenges that you're going to have to play very well and play very clean, because those are games of teams that can beat you if you don't play your best. You're capable of beating them, but they're capable of beating you. That really wasn't the case against Missouri and South Carolina. I mean, those teams weren't capable of beating A&M, in my opinion. A&M could lose the game, but I don't think they're capable of straight up beating them. Well, that's not going to be the case, at least for 2 of the next 4 opponents, maybe 3 in terms of personnel, but really 2 in particular.
Chris, let's continue down that path. So what does A&M have to do to win out? And we'll start off with the Auburn game and then the Ole Miss game. What do they have to do specifically in those games?
Well, I think that the Auburn game is one that you've got to really press the pocket on Bo Nix. They want to run the football, so you've got to have a real good rotation up front. Got to play well up front. Really do a good job on early down, stopping the run, and you got to push that pocket. If Bo Nix has a clean pocket, he can make plays. I think you can be a little bit aggressive, because I think you can hold up against those Auburn receivers. They're becoming better since they've made the coaching change, a little bit more proficient running routes, but they don't have receivers that consistently win off the line of scrimmage or in their route. So I think you can take some chances. I think you can be really aggressive, and I expect Mike to do that, because if you get into Bo Nix's grill a little bit, that's a different than if you give him time, he can set his feet. He can hurt you. So that's the real key in facing them. And I think defensively, this is a pretty good team. It'll provide some challenges for A&M's offense. You're going to have to run it. You may have to run some 2 tight ends. I mean, I know that in general, you'd like to see the passing game evolve a little bit more, but this is a team that in order to win games like this, they're going to have to be able to run the football so they can work some play action. And I think maybe take some chances on early downs. Against Ole Miss, it's a different matchup. That's a game that's a little bit more dangerous. It's going to be a big challenge defensively, defending their tempo. You have to get a line quickly. You basically got to go with your game plan, and with the adjustments have to be made during the week, because in-game adjustments, you can do it between series, but you're going to have a hard time. If you're going to make a lot of switches pre-snap, you're going to get misaligned. I mean, we've seen that happen to people. I mean, they'll score 14 points on you just because you're not ready for the snap and you don't want to give away points. That, and can A&M run against Ole Miss? Now, I think you can run the football against Ole Miss, but their defense is playing better. They play better against LSU. LSU still can't run the football, even though they ran it against Florida. I think that's the key, because you don't want to get in a shooting match with Ole Miss. That's one you probably lose, particularly if Matt Corral is healthy. You got to defend the quarterback run, so you've got to defend an extra gap in the run game. This is going to be the defensive challenge here, and the offensive complementary part to beating Ole Miss has got to be able to run the football. I don't like, if it's a shootout game, Ole Miss usually wins those against pretty much anybody. And I think they would win it here in a shootout matchup. So you don't allow it to get to that. That's control the football, make them become impatient, prevent the big play, defend the run on early downs, and play a lot of split safeties to try to make them go the length of the field. But man, you better defend that quarterback run, because if he's healthy and running it, we saw that, running the football 200 yards a couple of weeks ago. That was really something.
Chris, what about the emergence or reemergence, I should say, of Jalen Watermeyer, who had a slow start to the season, but now becoming a consistent threat once again, and a guy that they absolutely need the rest of the way?
Well, I think that he's an outstanding talent, a pass receiving talent. And again, as you run a lot of 2 tights, he's going to be in most sets. And with the run game being so successful, he can run a little check block and get out and release, and that's tough. You've got, again, when you can run the football, you've got to check that run first defensively playing against A&M, and that's difficult when now you've got to have the safety over the top trying to cover the tight end, and that's as capable as Wiedemeyer. What you want to do to stop him, you want to jam him off the line of scrimmage and run a safety over the top. It's a formula that will work, but they are so committed to the run game that if you do that successfully, that's when the running game is going to gas you. So you've got to, it's a big part of why I think Jalen's had so much success, because how they've used him formationally, and he certainly got the talent to win. I mean, he's a size mismatch and an athletic mismatch, depending on who you put up against him in coverage.
We, since it is the open week, we kind of looked into the future NFL draft stuff. A couple of Aggies could go in the top 10, 15, and DeMarvin and Kenyon. But I want to ask you about somebody who I hope sticks around for another year, but he may test the waters there in the NFL, and Aniyah Smith. What kind of NFL potential do you see from him?
Well, no, he has a lot of ability. Obviously, he's a playmaker, as a returner, and I think with the ball in his hands, he can be really successful. Look, I always say this, and those decisions are personal, but I think he can definitely help himself. He can help his draft stock, but that's going to depend upon what he wants to do personally. I think he could use more seasoning. I think he needs a little bit more polish. I think he's a playmaker. I just think he can be a different level, more consistent guy in the fundamental part of their offense if he came back, but I don't know what his plans are. What I tell guys all the time, because I've been part of the advisory board a bunch, and, get good advice. Take the advisory board's information. Jimbo learned this from Saban. Jimbo will call us and ask independently about where do you guys have, in this case, an ICE or anybody ranked. And take the good advice. Don't listen to Uncle Leroy who tells you that, you read on the internet you're going to be a first-round pick. Because I always tell guys, if you come out, you better be happy in the worst-case scenario. All right, look, you're hearing, and, guys believe what they want to believe. So, David, every year, there's 119 guys that think they're going to go in the first round. It's just like you want to say hello. Wake up, smell the coffee. So understand that you're not, most of you are not going to go there. So if you go in the 4th or 5th round, are you just happy with that? If you are, then fine. But just look at the worst case scenario and look at the upside and obviously the family situation, personal situation. You got to do what you want to do there. But just know, get it from football people that know, not from projections that are just getting second, third-hand information and what I call gossip.
Chris, let's go back to Ole Miss and Auburn for a moment. They're playing this weekend, and obviously those are the next two opponents for Texas A&M. How do you see that game playing out? If I remember correctly, that game is at Auburn.
It is. It absolutely is. It's at kind of the early evening window. I think 6 o'clock Central Time is where it is. It's on the Plains in Jordan-Hare. I'm very curious to see this matchup because I do think it's a little bit of contrast in styles. Much like I think Auburn is more, if you're going to make a comparison, more like what A&M is. And, they want to run some play action. They'll run some shotgun. They'll do different things. But they're working, believe it or not, they're working the tight ends at Auburn. They found tight ends that they never was the case with Gus. They like to run the football. They've got good backs. They can run the football. Can they run the football consistently on Ole Miss? That's going to be the key. Limit Ole Miss's possessions. Don't get in a shootout. It's basically a microcosm of very similar, I would say, very similar to kind of the A&M Ole Miss breakdown that I just gave. Very similar in that regard. I do think Auburn's got a chance, but, Ole Miss is on a roll. They're feeling it a little bit. The offense is playing well. No doubt about that. But I think you've got to, if you can, pardon the pun, corral their running game and certainly the quarterback in the run game, that's a different type team. And then you frustrate them a little bit, make them throw the football down the field in split safeties looks. That's really the key. And that's the one thing that they're doing differently. If you go back to Ole Miss Arkansas played them well last year. They played a lot of split safeties. But this year against them, what they did, and it was a close game, I know, but they are letting Corral run. And so that's going to be the key for Auburn, as it is going to be for A&M when they play the Rebs.
Chris, I want to ask you about Oklahoma. I'm not sure how much you watched that game against Kansas or just in general throughout the year. They're undefeated. They're finding ways to win games. But, man, I don't think they're one of the 4 best teams in the country. But I guess at the end of the day, who is that 4th best team in the country? There's a lot of teams up there. Do you see them stumbling down the stretch?
Well, they absolutely could if you look at their schedule. They always fare well against Oklahoma State, but I think Oklahoma State and their style is a little bit different than some of their past teams, much like Iowa State, and those 2 teams are going to challenge them. They're not playing all that well. And here's the thing, and Caleb Williams is a playmaker, and the whole Spencer Rattler. But what it's done, it's created spacing in the passing game for them to make big plays, but they're not consistent throwing the football well enough. They are running it better, but they're not as consistent. The offensive line's not as good. And defensively, they're all the talk about this and that, they're just not that good. Now, I know they're banged up in the secondary. They don't have depth there, and they don't have size in the secondary that can match up. So they lose a lot of 50-50 balls. You could sit there and say, well, Kansas, early game, on the road, they weren't ready. But that's been how Oklahoma's looked pretty much all year long. I mean, they were very fortunate to beat Nebraska. Nebraska just self-destructed on special teams. But, yeah, Oklahoma doesn't look like a team. They certainly, whether they make the playoffs or not, we'll see. They are not a team right now that's going to do damage in the playoffs with the way they're playing. And I don't know if they're going to get healthy enough to flip it around like a lot of people were trying to sell at the beginning of the year.
Chris, let me close it off with the Mike Tomlin press conference from the other day. I don't know if you got to watch any of that, but his name was linked to USC because of Matt Leinart. He seemed to take offense of it. I honestly thought that press conference, you could slice it in 2. First half, incredible. Second half, unneeded, but Mike Tomlin likes to say what he's thinking. Just your thoughts on how rumors get started and how Mike handled it and whatnot.
Well, here's the truth being on. I've been in the NFL for a long time. There's most guys and I'd say in Mike's case, they kind of look at it, and this is probably how he took it. And it maybe not how he should have taken it, it's how he took it. That things are not going well in Pittsburgh, maybe he might want to jump ship to college. Well, that's an insult to a guy like that. He's won a Super Bowl. He's been a very good coach. That is the best run organization in football. I'll speak to that because that's my bailiwick. I think that was an insult to him. I think it's also insulting to his bosses who he loves, to his players, that for a second, people thinking that he might be thinking about anything other than getting his team turned around is an insult to him. He tend to go around and maybe, the big boosters, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I can tell you, it was to me, what was foolish is, and I did a podcast on this week, that we're in the coaching search world. The people that talk don't really know what they're talking about. In most cases, they just throw stuff out and let it stick. And, a lot of coaches don't appreciate that because it gets their names drawn into it when there's nothing there. There's no interest. And I think that was a case of being frustrated. And you know what? There are a couple of guys that are ex-Steeler players that threw his name out there. And I don't know if they're throwing it for legitimacy or for clicks or whatever, but it wasn't anything, is nothing. And I think he was frustrated with that and handled it the way he did it.
Chris, we appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you next week.
Enjoy the bye week. Take care.
Thanks, my friend. Chris Landry, LandryFootball.com. The Texas A&M Scouting Report always brings it every week. One of my favorite guests. Might be number 1, but then somebody else is going to get mad. So he's in that mix. How about that? I want to remind you to text radio to 1-833-638-6248. That is 1-833-638-6248 for your chance to win the Big Friday giveaway, courtesy of our friends at Aggieland Outfitters. We're going to unveil that winner during the 10 o'clock hour of Friday's show. And we've been talking about the Big Ocho shirt right here, guys. It is a beauty, and it's all about DeMarvin Leal, who we talked about earlier in the week, being here's the camera. There we go. A top 10 pick, possibly. This white long sleeve tee features his name, his logo in the front in maroon with his signature printed across the logo, while the back features the big Ocho in maroon back there, the beginning with an O in Ocho containing his number 8 in it. It is the DeMarvin Leal Big Ocho white game day long sleeve valued at $39.99. And I've been telling you guys, but the Damon Demas signing is coming up on October the 28th, 7 to 9 o'clock. And then the DeMarvin Leal signing on the 29th from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. The Trunk or Treat event with DeMarvin Leal, 6 to 8 p.m. All these events will take place at the University Drive location. Check out Aggieland Outfitters.
It's ESPN Radio. ESPN. Weeknights and weekends here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM. The Zone.
The flagship station for Aggie Athletics is The Zone. Whenever the Aggies are playing, you can hear them right here at 1150 and 93.7 FM. Thanks to our listeners and our Aggie broadcast sponsors, Schulte Roofing, Prosperity Bank, Hargrove Insurance, and Rudy's Barbecue. Here's a big gig 'em to all these sponsors. Listen to Aggie Athletics on The Zone 1150 and 93.7 FM.
If you have a debit card, you're used to spending money. But what if your card actually ended up earning you money? That's not exactly normal, but that's what you can get at A&B. It's called Kasasa Cashback Checking. Don't mind the weird name. What you need to know is that it's a free account with cash rewards. Use your debit card for everyday purchases, and we'll pay you cash back every month. If that doesn't sound like normal banking, well, guess what? We're not a normal bank. So contact A&B today and ask for Kasasa or visit ANB.com. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Here's Brad Beard of Intercon.
Replacement windows, like other major purchase items, will at some time in the future need service, whether warranty or not. If you purchase your replacement windows from Intercon, you'll just phone our local number and we'll take care of your issue in a prompt and professional way. Every one of Intercon's personnel who answer the phone will know how to involve the right people to find a solution. With Intercon, you won't spend hours manipulating through an automated phone tree. If you consider purchasing your replacement windows from another window source, a good exercise would be to call the service department of the other company. You might come away thinking it'd be better to put your trust in a local company with a solid and well-established reputation. Ask your friends and colleagues about the customer experience they had with Intercon. We are proud of our track record and our commitment to long-term customer service. Trust Intercon, a family-owned local business, with all of your window needs.
Whether you have new construction or an existing home, let the fine folks from Intercon help your home energy efficiency year-round. Call Brad Beard of Intercon today at 823-3639. That's 823-3639.
Maureen saved big shopping epic daily deals at Amazon. So now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. And with her brand new tableware, everyone's welcome at Maureen's table. All of her family, friends, even her neighbor with the pet. Hey, has anyone seen a ferret around here? Found it. Dig into Amazon's epic daily deals. Spend less, smile more.
Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max.
You got to win multiple Super Bowls for it to be a dynasty. Do we ever talk about the Buffalo Bills that went to 4 Super Bowls and didn't win one? Do we ever say that it's a dynasty?
They would've won
the
one of them.
Dallas Cowboys, the Boston Celtics, the New York Yankees, those are dynasties. When you show up at the Super Bowl and don't win, it's not a dynasty.
What about it's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, powered by WC Tractor, here on Sports Radio 1150 AM and 93.7 FM.
All right, guys, it's time to hit the 9:20 Double Dave. So I didn't do Double Daves one day this week. I missed that. So we're going to double up today. Here's your first chance to get a Double Daves. Caller number 12 at 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a medium pizza or a half dozen pepperoni rolls from Double Daves. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984. You can order online at doubledaves.com for curbside pickup or free delivery. That is doubledaves.com. It is TexAgs Radio presented by David Gardner's Jewelers here in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Rollo Insurance, an independent insurance company built around educating you on exactly what you're paying for, doing the shopping for you so that you can accomplish all of your insurance goals. They can write any form of insurance to anyone in Texas, several states as well, and they've got 30 offices here in Texas. Their headquarters is on Highway 6 right here in College Station. Call 888-44-ROLLO or go to rolloinsurance.com. So at the top of the show, not only did we learn words that we'll never use in a sentence ever, but we also had a show topic, and I will reset that for you. What must A&M do to win out? Chris Landry gave an incredible answer that only a real football mind could give. My answer, I think, is brilliant as well, but very simple. Control the line of scrimmage. That's it. Both sides. You've got an incredible look, I don't know if Ole Miss's defense is legit. I don't know. I know that they were playing way better than they were before, and they did a nice job against LSU and whatnot, but I don't know. Can they stop Spiller? Can they stop A-Chain? Nah. I know we had our struggles early on running the ball, but it's a different A&M team. So establish the line of scrimmage, and obviously on the defensive side, DeMarvin, PV, Clement, like that whole crew, McKinley, whoever's in there. No. So I think the recipe against Auburn, the recipe against Ole Miss, the recipe against PV and LSU, control the line of scrimmage, do what you do. Obviously, there's more to it. You can't play dumb. You can't have dumb turnovers. But as Chris Landry pointed out, the last two opponents you had, they weren't going to beat you. You were only going to beat yourselves. These next couple can beat you unless you're on your A game, right? Like, I think if you were on your B or C game, you're still beating Missouri. And some would say they were on their B and C game, especially in the Missouri after halftime or after the second quarter. But that being said, bring your A game, control the line of scrimmage, y ya, ganamos. Let's go to the News and Social Center. Anna Rosa Peterson.
Yeah, and we want to hear your responses. So what must A&M, excuse me.
Oh, my goodness, you're about to cough.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, my gosh, I saw phlegm there.
Oh, my goodness.
Phlegmy? What was the word again?
Cheugy.
Sorry, not phlegmy. Cheugy.
Excuse me, my goodness. What must A&M do to win out? Oh, my goodness.
Do you want to take a break? Oh, my gosh.
We're good. Okay. We're good. Had something in my throat. PG Ag in King Oaks says Pass D really needs to improve if we are going to win out. The passing teams have put up big numbers and kept our D on the field. Ole Miss is the most diverse offense we've played.
Yes, that is the case. It is certainly the case without a doubt. By the way, guys, super excited to announce who our next guest is going to be. Annie Kuntz is going to be joining the show. Cannot wait to talk to the Olympian. I've never spoken to her. I know obviously many of you here at TexAgs have seen her throughout the years. You helped her get to Tokyo, and we're going to have her here on the show. That is coming up next here on TexAgs Radio, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers.
I'm Chelsea Reber with your community calendar on the Zone. The city of Bryan is hosting their annual hamburger cook-off fundraiser benefiting the United Way of the Brazos Valley on Friday at the Brazos Center from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Join Hope Pregnancy Center for an open house to celebrate their new location this Friday from 2 to 5 p.m. Safe Tech is looking for teams to compete for cash prizes and a chance to bring their ideas to life in the first ever 24-hour Make Safe Tech-a-thon on Friday. Register at makesafetech.org. The Twin Oaks Landfill Household Hazardous Waste and Computer Collection event is this Saturday at the Texas A&M Service Building next to Veterans Park. Visit twinoakshhw.com for complete details. Listen to the Astros postseason run on Sports Radio 1150 AM 93.7 FM and select games on Gospel 97.3 FM thanks to Kelly Burt Dozer. You can hear the Astros on the Zone and Gospel 97.3 FM. I'm Chelsea Reber on the Zone.
Hello, St. Joseph Eagles fans. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football throughout the season on KEDC 88.5 FM. St. Joseph Eagles football is brought to you this season by these local businesses: Jason Bainski Realtor, Lone Star Roof Systems, Law Office of Jeff Paradowski, Kraus Paint and Body, Wings and More, Blinn College, and Serve Pro of the Brazos Valley. Listen to St. Joseph Eagles football on KEDC 88.5 FM. Special thanks to all of our St. Joseph Eagle football sponsors.
Howdy, Yags. This is Dr. Krishna Shanmugam from BCS Eye Associates. I'm a fellowship-trained cornea and glaucoma specialist and eye surgeon, but most importantly, fighting Texas Aggie class of 2007. I was born in Aggie, raised in Aggie, and now back in the Brazos Valley to serve Aggieland, the incredible place that made me the person that I am today. We're the only fellowship-trained glaucoma, cornea, and cataract surgeon in town, and would be delighted to take care of you locally for your eye exam and your eye surgery needs. Give us a call to schedule an appointment today with Dr. K at BCS Eye Associates at 979-701-2020 or visit mybcsi.com.
Howdy, y'all. This is Cullen Gillespie, former 12th man. I've always tried to help my team on and off the field. And now I'd like to help Texas A&M fans like you cut their electricity bills in half. Yep, in half. It takes less than 5 minutes and you'll save hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars every year. 90% of Texans overpay for electricity, so don't be one of them. Sign up today at EnergyOgre.com and use code GILLY, G-I-L-L-Y, for a free month of service.
What will College Station look like in the next 30 years? Where will we put the growth that's expected to come? What kind of businesses will we attract? How will we compete with other cities? These questions require answers that involve planning, tough decisions, and strong leadership. William Wright is the College Station City Council candidate to lead the charge into the future and keep College Station a great place to live, work, and play. On November 2nd, vote the right way for City Council. Vote William Wright for College Station City Council, Place 4.
Political ad paid for by William Wright, Sherry Frisk, Treasurer.
You're listening to The Zone. The Zone. Aggie Land's all sports station.
Alright, stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny.